Thank you very much, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, Leader of the House. Please, can you tell this committee what you witnessed on the 30th of January 2025 and what you know about the incident that has happened on that fateful day? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. On the said day, around 6 to 7 p.m., I came to this room where the committee was sitting, and I took a seat, I think where Honorable Bidziding is seated now. And I observed proceedings. When I came into the committee room, the nominee to the Ministry of Transport was the one being vetted. And I observed the vetting for a while until the vetting of the nominee for transport was completed. And then there was a decision by the chairman to invite Honorable Akando to take his seat so that he will be vetted. That was when I noticed that there was some strong expression of disagreement by the minority side of the committee. But I remained seated for a while, and I was observing proceedings to see how the chairman of the committee was going to manage the situation. So I was seated there for a long time. I never got up. I never uttered a word. I just sat there and I was watching. And the minority members rose up and will not sit, will not leave the room, and publicly were expressing their disagreement with the chairman to continue with the vetting exercise. So I remained seated, and after a while, when I noticed that it was difficult for the chairman to bring order to the room, I decided to get up from where I was seated and start talking to both sides to understand what really was the problem. Because I'm not a member of the committee. I don't know what discussions took place. I just heard both sides exchanging words and shouting at each other. I heard words like ambush. I heard words like we didn't agree on this. And I heard words like we must vet them. And I heard words like you cannot stop us. And so I knew that there was some disagreement somewhere, but what it was, I didn't know. So I tried to talk to them to try and hear what the issue was. So I walked to all the sides trying to understand what is the problem. On the minority side, they said that they had had some discussions, and the understanding was that they were supposed to vet 3 nominees, and then later on there was a plea to add a 4th nominee, and they agreed. After that, there was a plea to add a 5th nominee, and that was the nominee for the Ministry of Transport. And then there was resistance that, according to them, Honorable Nitu tried to convince the side to accede to the plea by the majority side to add the nominee for the Ministry of Transport. And so ultimately they agreed. And that was the nomination that I came and met. But towards the end, they have seen that the majority side is parading 2 additional nominees. And those were Akando and then Honorable Ablakwa. And that they were not going to entertain the nomination of these 2 other, the vetting of these 2 other nominees. And I heard their side. So I tried to speak to the chairman and then the majority side. They also indicated that there was no agreement to vet only 3 people, and that because of the decision to hear Vamebo, they had pushed all those who were supposed to be nominated that day to the Thursday. So they were hoping to clear both the nominees for Wednesday and Thursday on Thursday. So that was what they were seeking to achieve, which is just to complete the task that was before them. And there was strong disagreement. So I tried to convince the majority side that how about if they agree to vet Akando so that you push Ablakwa to Friday morning. Is that acceptable? They said no, they must vet the 2 of them that day. Then I went to the minority side and tried to plead with them. Is it okay for you to vet Akando since he's already seated, and then we can defer Ablakwa to Friday morning? And they also said no, they will not vet Akando. Some were okay, some said we don't have a problem with Akando, but we have a problem vetting Ablakwa tonight. So I decided to engage the minority leader, and I asked him to come out of the committee room with me so that we can talk. So outside, he gave a very strong objection and said his side would not agree, and that they were tired, and they agreed on 3, and they had been generous enough to do 5, and we want to push them to do 7. It was too much, and it was already late. It was about 8 p.m., and they were tired. They would not continue the work. So when I noticed that he could not come along with me to at least agree to vet Akando, I came back trying to talk to some people on his side to prevail on him. And the situation had degenerated, where it had gotten to breaking tables and people holding each other's shirts. And I tried to separate some of the fights and tried to pull some people out again. So I just kept going in and out, trying to pull people out and talk to them, because it was too noisy in the committee room. Nobody could hear the others. So the only way I could get to talk to people was to pull them outside the meeting room and then try to talk to them and come back into the meeting room. And the audience were mostly behind the nominee, were also participating in, as you could see in the videos, shouting and, shaming members of the minority side. And then also the corridors were full. So even within the corridor, it was difficult to move around freely. So that was the situation. So I decided to call 1 or 2 people to consult and take a decision on what to do. And ultimately, I decided that it would be better to end the proceedings, by which time they had broken one table. They had pulled out the plugs of the microphones, and in 1 or 2 instances, they had actually smashed the microphones. And so I thought the best thing to do was to bring proceedings to an end and get the chairman to postpone it to the following day. And so I announced that, and they all accepted and dispersed. Those were what I saw and what I did on that day.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader.